Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Wrong About Sports. I am sad Chicago Cubs fan, but hopeful Chicago Bears fan, Brian McDaniel.
And I am, hopefully rested and not sad Vikings fan because we were on a bye. Karla Bigham,
And we are
we are wrong
Wrong About
about
Sports.
sports.
Yeah, so if this is the first time that you're watching us, welcome to the show. If you're returning, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. For those of you who are brand new, Brian McDaniel and Karla Bigham here. We take a look at largely the NFL, but not just the NFL, with a little bit of a focus on the NFC North, seeing as though I'm a Bears fan, she's a Vikings fan. But this week, a little bit different because the Bears don't play until Monday night, which is tonight, and the Vikings were on a bye. So we're going to be looking a little bit prospectively at the Bears game, talk a little bit about the Vikings QB situation, talk a little bit about Packers and Lions game, and then kind of get into some potential firings in the NFL. But let's start off just kind of getting the Vikings quarterback news out of the way. So Tom Pelissero has said that the Vikings quarterback situation is even getting murkier with some worry that the game is going too fast for JJ McCarthy. Now, part of me thinks he's a rookie. He's having rookie problems, which shouldn't be that surprising, but people do seem to be surprised by it. What do you think, Karla?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And again, I'm going to just keep saying that we have good reason to have high expectations for JJ McCarthy. He went to the college championship game twice, won once. He was a top recruit out of high school. He is a really, really good quarterback. He is. You have to remember out of the University of Michigan, they did run the ball a lot, but the dude can use his legs as well. And he has a really good arm, and so I think you have to look at the fact that we had injuries a lot to our offensive line, which is why, having this bye week came at a really crucial, time for us. Like literally our whole offensive line is injured. And, I don't even know what our center situation is going to be like. My guess is we're getting a new one in the draft, just breaking news, in my opinion. But also on the defensive side, I think, you're going to stick with JJ McCarthy. You're not going to turn on him. You're not going to set him aside. You have, in my opinion, two really good reserves with Wentz and Brosmer. And, you have nothing to panic about. This NFC North division has turned into any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Because it's just like which team is showing up to win, because sometimes, like you have really strong Packers team. Other time it's like, what was that about? And then you could say that it's like, whoa, there was a Bears team you didn't see. And then it's like the Packers, squeak them out most of the time, but not always pretty. Like, Love didn't actually do all that. I thought he would do better against Cincinnati, but that was just my opinion. So anywho, I just think with McCarthy, you're going to stick with them. Wentz's, shoulder is still probably sore. I mean, that was, quite a hit he took. So we'll see. I think they're going to put McCarthy in and let him, fight this out and do what he does. He's very smart. He's just a very intelligent football player. And I think you've got to get him used to that pace.
Well, and I think part of what the Vikings are doing is similar to what the Bears have done with Trubisky, with Fields, and with Williams, where they're putting in these quarterbacks without a lot of NFL experience, and then not giving them the offensive line to give them any time to figure it out. Now, the Vikings are doing it out of injury. The Bears did it out of just sheer organizational incompetence. But I think that there's only so much they can expect, and I'm surprised at how quickly everything turned, because the second half of the Bears Vikings game, everyone's like, "Oh, JJ McCarthy is the best thing since sliced bread," and then by the next game, it's like, well, his career probably is going to be Christian Ponder and he's going to be out of the league. Everyone needs to, the internet, man, everyone needs to just calm down, take a deep breath, and realize that not everybody goes directly from college, then gets injured. But then when they're a rookie, or,
Twice.
essentially a rookie, it's going to take a little while, and you got to put the tools around him. And wide receivers, the Vikings have. Running backs, the Vikings have. But if he doesn't have offensive line, he can't do a lot with those wide receivers and running backs.
No, and he was used to having a really good line at the University of Michigan. And I will say this, like, people don't talk about this. Josh McGowan is like one of the most revered quarterbacks that has played in the NFL. No, dude, didn't do much as a professional quarterback, but he was a mentor to so many current quarterbacks and recent past quarterbacks. And then also like KOC, again, kind of in that same, realm of didn't do much in his professional career, but he was revered as he knew the game, he knew the fundamentals of the game, and he could explain them to people really well. So there you go. I mean, you have two people that really understand the position, the systems, and have done well with it. Now, I mean, everybody's going to second guess you, but I mean, Arnold isn't doing bad in Seattle. I will say that, but in the beginning, I said, keep your eye on Seattle. They did a reorg and a regroup. And I think, same with San Francisco. Like, what the heck is that about? They can't stay healthy for nothing. They're just cursed. They are just absolutely cursed, and they keep winning.
So. Yeah. Well, I mean, not but normally they're doing pretty well. So let's talk just briefly about the Packer game. So Green Bay played Cincinnati, and we all know Cincinnati is a mess. They lost Joe Burrow. They put former Viking Jake Browning in, and Browning did pretty good last year, but he is not was not cutting it this year. And we talked on this show and lots of other ones about how the Bengals need to potentially bring in a whole different quarterback. I thought they weren't going to do that, just saying, what, we're cooked. Let's go, prepare for the draft. But no, they did make a trade, but they went off the bingo card a little bit by picking up Joe Flacco. Got him from Cleveland. Now, I'm going to be 53 years old this year. I'm pretty sure Joe Flacco and I went to junior high together.
Sure.
So he is aged, let's just say. And I think I was surprised that they traded for him within the division, by the way. And I'm a little surprised. I think he was a little surprised that he got moved.
Like we said last week, when you have someone like Russ Wilson and Kirk Cousins available and a little bit younger, and probably you can do some good negotiating.
Jameis Winston. I mean,
Jameis Winston is another one. There's another name. Like, I get you've paid Burrow a beep ton of money, right? In case there are kids listening. And so, like, I get that. You're not going to go and bring a Kirk Cousins for that kind of money. There are ways to negotiate, okay, to get you what you need to get there to win. But to bring an old man Flacco to try and do this, I mean, look, 219, 2 tutties yesterday, and Love did 259, a tutty and an interception. That's your typical Love. And he's my quarterback in one of my leagues this year, and I didn't start him. But I think when you look at Cincinnati, I mean, you're just going to try and look through this season clearly. I would watch. There's a coach I would watch. He'll make it this season, but what do they call it? Bloody Monday. And he might be on the block, to be honest. If you can't regroup and redo that. But I will say this: rookie quarterback Matthew Golden from the Packers. So wide receiver for the Packers, that receiving core, is kind of, it circulates because they always get injured, but they are so young and just so like dynamic, very dangerous. The whole Packers team is very young, but he had 86 yards, 5 targets. Love does spread that ball around a lot. But like, it's just, again, it was against the Bengals, and they squeaked it out 27-18.
Yeah, the Bengals made it a game at the end, but
Yep.
it was pretty well the Packers game in the first half. Josh
Yep.
Jacobs had a good game. He's showing that
Mhm.
any problems that he had in Vegas were obviously Vegas's fault, not his. So that worked out well. And then the Lions played last night on Sunday Night
Yeah.
Football. They
Ooh.
played the Chiefs in what
Ooh.
should have been the game of the week, and it was a good game.
Ooh.
It wasn't a
Yeah.
great game. It was interesting, but with Kansas City winning in easier fashion than I was certainly expecting. But
Right.
something that I missed at the
Yeah.
very end of the game was a little kerfuffle between
Kerfuffle.
a Donnybrook, if you will, between Juju Smith Schuster and
Brian Branch.
Branch.
Yep.
You can see on the screen here. So there were some pleasantries at the end of the game, and something happened that made Juju
Yeah.
upset. And then he
Ooh.
expressed his pleasure to
Ooh.
Mr. Branch, who then tried to slap his face off his face. So
So
you
yeah,
guys saw that. I didn't see
I
it
did.
until you brought it up. So what were the announcers saying?
So they got real quiet and confused for a second. So then you always know something's going on. And then they turned it to the field, and it was like a massive pile. And like they quickly got Mahomes out of there, which of course, they're gonna get Mahomes out of there. He was kind of towards the bottom a little bit, because I
Was
think,
there a pile up?
yeah, there was a pile up, because there was some, rolling around and stuff. I do have to say, for the youngins that are playing football, you're using your hands, right? You're hitting a helmet. Okay. Not a good, like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, just, I'm just, as an official, like, don't do that. Just be smarter than that. And don't fight. There's no place for that in football. Like, just go win, play them, outrun them, out tackle them, do what you got to do. Do not fight, because Mr. Branch is going to get really made an example of by the league. I'm going to tell you why. So, his coach, who I just admire, the Detroit Lions coach, Dan Campbell, got up immediately, walked right up to the podium in his opening statement, took a total accountability, apologized to Andy Reid, who's the head coach, and took accountability, apologized to Juju Smith Schuster, and just on behalf of the Lions organization, took accountability and said, "We don't do that. That's not how we act. That is how you do it." They, you just don't disrespect other players. You don't disrespect the game like that. And that's exactly what happened. The Lions going into the half, it was a very close, the second half, it was a very close game. They just couldn't make plays the second half of the game. That was simply it. And that's exactly what Campbell said. They just were not doing what they needed to do. They couldn't get it going. And, it was clearly a fight started by Branch. You saw the video. Now, the announcers did make it clear the officials were off the field, which is my thought of them saying that, is that this is now going to be 100% on the league to make a determination, because there were no officials on the field to see what happened. And so I think that's a kind of a tell too. But it just got away from the Lions. I mean, Goff had 203 yards for 2 tutties, but Mahomes had a night, 257 yards, 3 tutties, 32 yards rushing, and rushing touchdown. It was the night of the tight ends. You had Travis Kelce, 78 yards, which is a season high. And then you had Laporta for the Lions, 55 yards and a touchdown. But the man of the night, Hollywood Brown, who I did not start.
I did not either.
45 yards, 2 tutties, and only 4 targets, and he got that.
Well, and I apologize for the kids that are watching, but actually, Night of the Tight Ends was a movie that Gabe was in college when he just needed the money. So, sorry.
Yeah, well,
nice,
thanks for bringing
nice.
that up. But yeah,